Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free-to-air Nicomsat. Now the news in full. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says Nigerians need a new positive mindset to rebuild the country. Akpabio spoke a day for former Ghanaian President John Mahama, said the rising trend of civil unrest in Africa is a reflection of the deep disillusionment with the democratic process on the continent. Senator Akpabio and President Mahama spoke at the ongoing Nigerian Bar Association Annual General Conference in Lagos, where he emphasized the critical role of the legal community in Nigerians' ongoing effort to rebuild and transform the nation. Akpabio also highlighted the historic significance of the Lawyers Association and its pivotal role in shaping Nigerians' path to independence and beyond. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has inaugurated the construction of a state-of-the-art bus and taxi terminal in Abuja's Central Business District. The project, a key element in the FCT administration's border strategy to revamp the capital's infrastructure, is expected to ease traffic congestion, enhance public transportation, and bolster security in the city. The terminal, which is part of a series of infrastructure projects initiated by the administration, will include amenities such as restaurants and relaxation areas designed to offer commuters both convenience and comfort. It will fully inaugurated with Abuja's expanding road network, ensuring seamless connections across the country. The federal government has announced its determination to revive the policy that bars individuals under the age of 18 from taking part in the National Examination Council (WAEC) and the West African Examinations Council (NECO) exams. Minister of Education Professor Tahir Mamman said the federal government directed WAEC, which conducts the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, and NECO, which oversees the Senior School Certificate Examination, to enforce the 18-year age requirement for candidates wishing to take these exams. Stressing that it is not a new policy, he stated that the age limit for candidates sitting for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, administered by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, remains set at 18 years. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has vowed to keep promoting the rule of law, adhere to the principles of separation of powers, and tolerate dissenting views within the armpit of the law of Nigeria, stating that his administration had made steady progress in the effort to rebuild the country through legal and judicial reforms. The president spoke in Lagos when he declared open the annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, acknowledged the association's sterling history of championing democratic ideals as well as promoting the rule of law. The president employed Nigerian lawyers and other citizens to join hands with his administration in resultantly working towards a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Moving on the news now, the police had confirmed the brutal murder of Damola Akinloye, a 50-year-old son of Tijani Akinloye, the Ajumo of Ajori land of Lagos State. Spokesperson for the police in the state, Benjamin Ahedein, says the deceased was driving near Bodilon Court Estate Gate around 12:30 p.m. on Monday when 4 men armed shot and stabbed him. Ahedein said the body of the late monarch's son has been deposited at the morgue in Ajah as the State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department investigates the incident. A tea vendor identified as Abdul Rashidu Yau in Jigawa State has allegedly killed a 20-year-old man named Hassan Garba over accusations of stealing bread, milk, noodles, and petrol. The suspect, who resides in Syria village, Jigawa Tisada town in Dutse local government area, is said to have committed the crime on August 19, 2024. The police public relations officer for Jigawa State Command, DSP Lawan Adam, confirmed the crime in a statement. He said upon receiving the report, a standby patrol team promptly rushed to the scene, apprehended the suspect, and conveyed the victim to Rashid Shokani Teaching Hospital for immediate medical attention. The National Working Committee of the ruling All Progressive Congress will today meet with Benue senators, House of Representative members, and stakeholders of the party in the state to resolve the lingering feud between loyalists of Governor Hyacinth Alia and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, for over a year. The Benue chapter of the APC has been basking and embroiled in crisis by political gladiators fighting for control of the party. While Austin Agada led the Akume's fraction of the party, Benjamin Omakolo was in charge of the Alia fraction. You're watching News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When News Cycle returns, South African patients flock to dock Chinese hospital ship, seek access to health services. Details of these and more after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On our business desk, a report by Budget IT, an accountability firm, has revealed that the federal government spent 3 times its revenue in 2023, resulting in a deficit of 13.50 trillion naira. And its analyst of the 2023's fiscal account from the Office of the Accountant General of Federation, Budget IT, stated that the government's revenue last year was 5.99 trillion naira, while it spent 19.50 trillion naira, exceeding its income by 225%. The report showed that the revenue came from various sources, including 3.80 trillion naira from the Federation Account Allocation Committee, 1.98 trillion naira from the federal government's independent revenue, and 202.54 billion naira from other sources. The deficit highlights the government's continued drift away from fiscal responsibility as it borrows more than it earns, perpetuating a cycle of debt and financial instability. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it has commenced shipments of liquefied natural gas cargoes to Japan and China on a delivered ex-ship basis. The company stated that the move is in line with its strategic vision to be a dynamic and reliable global energy supplier of choice. The company's spokesperson, Olufemi Sonaye, said in a statement that NNPC achieved the milestone through collaboration of 2 of its downstream subsidiaries, NNPC LNG and the NNPC Shipping Limited, which delivered its first DS-LNG cargo. Over now to the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas Ekperike Ekpo, says the federal government will do everything it can to reduce the rising cost of liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas. The minister stated this as the Decade of the Gas Initiative flagged the distribution of gas cylinders to about 300 women in Lagos State. The price of 1 kilogram of cooking gas, which dropped to about 1,000 naira in June and July, has now risen to 1,300 in some areas. Financial analysts have projected a rebound in both foreign and domestic investments in Nigeria's capital market, attributing the anticipated growth to recent government policy reforms and improved investor sentiment. The analysts believe that a stable economic environment will drive more robust participation from both local and foreign investors. They, however, caution that challenges such as inflation, interest rates, and FX volatility must be addressed for sustained growth. About 198 extractive companies and government agencies have submitted information and data for the ongoing nationwide reconciliation and validation of revenues in the oil, gas, and mining industries by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. The initiative acting director and head of communication and stakeholder management, Obiageli Onora, noted that the executive secretary of the agency, Dr. Oji Ogbonnaya, announced this in Abuja while addressing a meeting of leaders from civil society organizations involved in the extractive sector. Over now to our foreign scene, a Chinese hospital ship has docked in Cape Town, South Africa to bring much-needed free medical care to South African patients as part of a joint exercise between the two nations. South Africa's Army Health Service said in a statement that the Peace Ark arrived on the country's western shores on August 22nd and will provide independent medical services for 7 consecutive days. Chidondoa Mole, in his words, one of the beneficiaries, spoke on her reason for using the service. Caitlin April Patient, despite being the most advanced economy on the continent, South Africa grapples with widespread poverty and high unemployment, making quality health care often inaccessible. Semer, whose Labour Party was elected by landslide on July 4th, is expected to use the speech to ramp up attacks on the legacy left by the Oxford Conservatories. Moving on now, Prime Finance Minister Rachel Reeves in recent days has also warned of difficult decisions over whether to cut spending or increase tax in her first budget on October 30th. Japan has accused a Chinese spy plane of breaching its airspace in what would be the first known instance of such a direct violation. Japan scrambled fighter jets after a Y-9 surveillance plane violated the territorial airspace of Danjo Island for about 2 minutes and 11:29 local time. Japan's chief cabinet secretary called the breach utterly unacceptable and summoned a Chinese embassy official in Tokyo in protest. The incident comes as tensions rise in the region where China competes for influence against the U.S. and its allies, including Japan. Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg says he regrets bowing to what he said was pressure from the Biden administration to censor content on Facebook and Instagram during a coronavirus pandemic. In a letter sent to a U.S. House committee chair, he said senior officials, including some from the White House, pressured Meta to remove content in 2021. The White House has defended his actions, saying it encouraged responsible actions to protect public health and safety. Zuckerberg also said his firm briefly demoted content relating to Joe Biden's son, Hunter, ahead of 2020 elections after the FBI warned of a potential Russian disinformation operation. A Russian murderer who was released from prison to fight in the war in Ukraine, only to then kill an elderly woman, has been released a second time to return to the front. In 2022, Ivan Rikamahin was released from prison where he was serving a 14-year prison sentence for murder to join the Wagner mercenary group. He was later allowed to return home to the district of Pelyan in Russian Kurv region. There he attacked, killed an 85-year-old Yulin in her own house. In sports now, the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, has reached an agreement with German tactician Bruno Labbadia to take charge of the Super Eagles. Secretary General of the NFF, Mohamed Sanusi, made the announcement stating that the Federation Executive Committee has approved the recommendation of its Technical and Development Subcommittee to appoint Bruno Labbadia as the head coach of the Super Eagles. An appointment is with immediate effect. 20 Nigerian track and field athletes are among over 1,700 athletes from 134 teams and countries now in Lima for the World Athletes Under 20 Championship 2024. The young athletes were reported to be competing at the Estadio Atlético de la Vedina between Tuesday and Saturday. Several of the participating athletes will be making their international debut in Lima, while for some others, the part of Peru has gone through the Paris Olympic Games. The list of Olympians who will compete for age group honors following the Paris 2024 Games is believed to be long. Nigeria's first Olympic medalist, Nojoin, has died at the age of 85. The former boxer, who made history by winning a bronze medal at the 1964 Tokyo Olympics, passed away in Vietnam, Austria, where he resided for several years after relocating from Nigeria. Multiple sources confirmed that Miyang died of natural causes after being in and out of the hospital in the past 6 months. Known to have been visually impaired for several years, Miyang's condition had reportedly worsened before his death. Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has turned down a €70 million move to Saudi Arabia club Al Ahly, with his agent Roberto Calenda insisting that the Nepalese star still has unfinished business in European football. This development comes amid heightened transfer speculation surrounding the Nepalese star, who has drawn interest from several top clubs across Europe and Middle East. Osimhen has a litany of clubs in the Saudi Pro League willing to break the bank to sign him. However, the Nigerian international has so far overlooked such overtures, looking to continue his football in Europe, preferably the English Premier League. That's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276, and free-to-air Nicomsat and its perimeters showing on your screen. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms by using the Global TV NG and the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.